Have we completed identification? Okay, we have seen the definition of identification. We have seen the definition of classification also. Okay, so today we'll start with this thing, taxonomy. We'll understand what is taxonomy. We'll understand what is systematics. And we'll understand what is phylogeny first. Okay, so these are three terminologies that you should be knowing. Okay, so taxonomy is one thing, the second one is systematics, and the third one is phylogenetics. Already we have studied nomenclature, identification, and classification. So in this particular chapter, you should know what these different things mean. Okay, so what is nomenclature? We have studied it is naming. What is identification? You are trying to, if you are going to identify a new species, you are like kind of seeing similarities between species and you are trying to see the differences between them, and you are trying to identify whether it is the same or different. In classification, you are trying to study about where it is located, how it is located, what are the similarities. Based on whatever you have identified, you are classifying them into different categories. Okay, so now we are going to study about what is taxonomy. Okay, what is taxonomy? Taxonomy is the study of study of nomenclature, identification, and classification. So what is this thing that we are calling as taxonomy? Taxonomy is a subject. Okay, the word taxon or taxis means arrangement. Okay, and nomi means laws. The laws of arrangement of different organism is what we call it as taxonomy. Okay, so please write the definition of taxonomy. Taxonomy is the study of identification, classification, and nomenclature. Father of taxonomy, Carl Linnaeus. Okay. So we have studied what is taxonomy now. The next one we have to go is systematics. Systematics is the second terminology for the class. So we have to study what is systematics. Systematics is the study of diversity of living organisms. And the relationship between them. Okay, this word systema is coming from means classification. Okay, let me tell you crudely what it is. Okay, so please understand what is systematics. Say for example, I am finding a new species or like kind of like trying to study the diversity of organisms. So let me say I am taking an example of lion and tiger. So lion and tiger, I have to classify them into different groups. Okay, and I have to study the relationship between them. If I have to study about the relationship between them, then what I would try to do, I'll try to see the morphological characters. I'll try to study the anatomical characters. And then I'll try to study about all these other things. And then what I will try to do is I'll try to classify them. And then I'm going to study the relationship between lion and tiger in terms of all these things. Okay. In case of taxonomy, how it is different from taxonomy, you need to understand. Okay. In taxonomy, what we are going to do is we are just trying to classify lion and stop there. We are just going to classify tiger and we are going to stop there. But in systematics, what we are doing is we are trying to do a comparative study of both these things. Okay. And we are trying to see how diverse is lion from tiger. Okay. So what we are trying to do in taxonomy and systematics are two different things. In taxonomy, what we are trying to do is, in taxonomy, we are just trying to classify. We are taking a species. Let us say that there is a new organism A which is found out. We are trying to tell that this is an individual species. I am identifying it. Then I am trying to classify it. Then I am going to name it and stop there. In case of systematics, after doing all these three things, I am doing taxonomy. And after that, what I am trying to do is I am trying to compare and study. So that is the basic difference between systematics and taxonomy. Taxonomy and systematics are not two same things. They are two different things. In taxonomy, you are just concerned about one species and you are trying to classify it, stop it with there. Whereas in case of systematics, you are trying to go detail. What you're trying to do is you're trying to further compare and analyze with other species. And you're trying to see the relationship between them. That is what is the basic difference. So to the thing, I mean systematics, write some notes. Systematics, systema means classification. This word is coming from a book written by Charles Darwin, not Carolus Linnaeus. This person, Carolus Linnaeus, has written a book called a Systema Natura. This is a book written by Carl Linnaeus. So he is the one who introduced this word Systema Naturae. His book name is Systema Naturae. From there, it has been picked up. Okay, what is how can you define systematics? Scientific study of kinds of living organisms, comma, the diversity among them, so this is what we call it as systematics. So systematics, it is a scientific, we are studying about the kinds of living organisms, diversity, and the relationship among them. We'll study about cat family and all later. I mean, I just gave it as an example. If you guys are done, you tell me so that I can proceed further. Okay. The next one is phylogeny. So phylogeny is study of evolutionary history of living organisms. So what we are trying to study in phylogeny is how an organism has evolved. So if you are going to talk about human beings, okay, I'm just using this first slide. Okay, or I will use this part itself. So let us talk about human beings. So you have humans. If you are going to talk about humans, where are these guys coming from? Whatever modern humans is sapiens. But before us, there was a person who was called as erectus. Homo erectus was there. Okay. And then like if you are seeing before that, there was a guy who was called as hominid. This hominid also tried to branch out into some other organism which was more like ape. And this one has become what today we call it as chimpanzee. So this hominid was a guy who has divided into two lines. One line which is more animal like, and then the other one is more human like. So what has happened is hominid was there. Hominid has divided into two lines. One is like more monkey like and one is more human like. So if you're going to see this particular comparison between chimpanzee and human beings, and if we are trying to track it, that is what we call it as phylogeny. So what is phylogeny? Phylogeny is study of evolutionary history of living organisms. So if you are going to study human beings and chimpanzee together, we share common evolutionary origin. So if we are tracking how these organisms have evolved, how it has evolved over time, so that is what we call it as phylogeny. Phylogeny is very important. It becomes very important in classification. Why it is becoming very important in classification? If you know phylogeny, you will be able to classify things very easily. Okay, so that is what is phylogeny is. Phylogeny, the definition is just this thing. Phylogeny is study of evolutionary history of living organisms. Okay, a phylogenist uses fossil evidences, anatomy, morphology, embryo patterns for study. So then one more important point is phylogeny is extensively used in classification. Please copy this thing down. If you guys are done, please tell me. Okay, so we'll move on further. Now we'll go into the next area, which is called as binomial classification. The word phylogeny is coming from Fulon. The word Fulon means race. Geny means origin. It means race or tribe. Hey, I will try to show all the slides later. You just wait for some time. I'll move on. If I keep showing slides, it will take time. So what is binomial nomenclature? Binomial nomenclature is naming. The word nomenclature means naming, we already studied. So there are something called as scientific name. So we have something called as a scientific name for organisms. Okay. So this is also called as a binomial nomenclature. Why? Because we have two distinct names for any organisms. Why we call it as binomial? There are two names. One is what we call it as the generic name or the genus name. Then you have something called as a species name, or we call them as specific epithet. Okay, so any organism will be having a scientific name which has two parts. One is called as the genus name and the other one is called as a species name. Let us talk about paddy that we eat. Paddy or rice. The name of rice is Oryza sativa. In this, the word Oryza indicates the genus name and the word sativa indicates the species name. You talk about human beings. The word is Homo sapiens. So you talk about mango. Mango is, you have Mangifera indica. So then you talk about, say for example, lion. Panthera leo. If you're going to talk about tiger, tiger is Panthera tigris. Okay. You also have the name of bacteria E. coli. What is E. coli? Escherichia coli. So the name Escherichia is standing for the genus name and the word coli is called as the species name. So this way of nomenclature is what we call it as binomial nomenclature. So each organism has been given a name which has two parts, two components. One is what we call it as your generic name and the second one is what we call it as your species name. Okay, so this kind of naming is what we call it as binomial nomenclature. These are all some of the examples. Okay, so now moving on further, there are some specific rules for writing these names. What are the rules? So it should be based on Latin. Okay, binomial names, biological names should be written only in Latin. If they are derived, it has to be Latinized. Okay, so that is the first rule that it is there. Second one, there should be two names. There should be a generic name and specific epithet. That is the second rule. The third one, when it is handwritten, the generic name should start in uppercase and species name should start in lowercase. So you see Homo sapiens. Only small letters should be used for starting for species. Whereas in case of genus name, it has to be Homo sapiens. You cannot write it as Homo sapiens. This is wrong. Okay. It has to be start with the genus name should be written in capital. Species name should be starting with small letter. That is what I mean by lowercase. The scientific name underlined when written so while you're writing it, you have to underline. And while you're printing it, it should be in italics. Okay. So you know what is italics, right? So italics font. So that italics font level, it should be there. Latin is a dead language, but still we use it because that is convention. Because the people who laid the rules laid it that way. Okay. The fifth rule is that name of the author person who named is called as the author. Should appear after specific epithet. Example, Mangifera, Indica, Lin. So are you guys able to understand? So there is like this Lin which is written here. This Lin is indicating Carl Linnaeus, who classified it. So actually, this is not normally done in textbooks. But if you are going to write a scientific journal, then in that case, you have to use this kind of rule system. So normally only these two things are written. Generic name and specific epithet is written. So Homo sapiens, if I'm saying Homo sapiens, I'll just say that. We would not go ahead with this who classified it normally. But when you are publishing a paper, when you are publishing a particular scientific journal, in such instances, you should go for this person who classified it also. Okay. So who are these people who are responsible for naming? There are two things which are there, two organizations are there. The animal taxonomy is done by International Code for of Zoological Nomenclature. We call this as ICZN. These guys only will do nomenclature. Whereas in case of plants, it is done by International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. So it is done by this guy, ICBN guys do it. Okay, these are the people who have laid down the code, and these people only will help in, I mean, like they are the ones who will approve the names in case if we are trying to do something. Say, for example, you are a person who has found a new species, then you have to go ahead with all your journals, papers, and then you have to publish it to them. And only if they are approving, then only it will come into the existing usage. So please quickly copy this thing down. If you guys are done, let me know so that I can proceed. Okay. So the next one is we are going to go for taxonomic categories. Okay. Yes, you should keep a full stop after Lin. Since it is a short form, you can go for a full stop. So say for example, if you are going to classify things, uh, classification is not going to be a single step process. Okay. What is your issue? Gokul and someone else also raised the hand. If you have anything which is there, please tell me. Wait, sir. Gokul, I'm waiting for you. You quickly tell me whether it's done. Are you done? Okay. So please understand that taxonomy cannot be just like that done in a single day. It's not a single step of process. It's like kind of like a very huge process where you are classifying it. Okay. So say for example, if I want to classify organisms, I have to like have something called as a hierarchy. I'm putting things inside a order. Okay. So what is this order? We call that each of these category as taxon. I'm going to devise some characters which are common for organisms. So some species, some kind of like some characters which are similar are grouped together and it's called as a taxon. And what I will do is I'll try to create lots of taxons. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to arrange them in an order. Like that, I can try to organize organisms, and that is what we call it as classification. Okay, so you are going to study about what we call it as a taxonomic category. Okay, so and then you are going to study about taxonomic hierarchy. And then you are going to study about taxonomic hierarchy. What is this hierarchy? Arrangement of these categories is called as hierarchy. What is this taxonomic category? This taxon is what we call it as your uh, category. So now I am going to create lots of taxons and then I am going to arrange them together in a particular way. Okay. So every taxon is like a rank almost. Okay. So you are going to give them some ranks and you are going to arrange them in a particular order. So what is the thing that you have to know is there is something called as a species. Many species are arranged together as a genus. And many genus are arranged together as a family. And then many families are arranged together as order. And many orders are arranged together as class. And many class is arranged together as a phylum or division. And many of these things are arranged together to call it as a kingdom. So let me try to tell you what it is. So let us talk about two things. One is your cat and the other one is your tiger. Tiger is Panthera tigris. And cat is Panthera leo. Sorry, not Felis felis. And let us also try to take lion. Lion is Panthera leo. What is it indicating? This tigris leo and felis is indicating of the species name. So, which means if you are going to take two lions, the lion one is also called as Panthera leo, lion 2 is also called as Panthera leo, which means they belong to the same species. Okay, so say for example, you are also a Homo sapien, I am also a Homo sapien. So both of us are sapiens, so we belong to the same species. But if you are going to talk about Homo sapiens and Panthera leo, we belong to two different species altogether. Okay, so anyone who is like two organism which is like exactly morphologically same, anatomically same, reproductive ability wise same, everything is similar, we put them together in the same species. Okay, so many species are arranged together, many species with similar characters are arranged together in the genus. If you are going to talk about human beings, there was a guy who was called as Homo erectus. There was a guy who was called as Homo sapiens. I mean, we are the Homo sapiens. Then similarly, there is a guy who is called as Homo neanderthalensis. So all of us were different, but everyone was belonging to the species Homo, genus Homo. So, which means we were having Neanderthal man, sapiens, erectus, all had something in common in a broader perspective. So we group them together under a similar genus. Similarly, if you are going to talk about lion and tiger, so Panthera is a same genus. So lion and tiger will have similar characters in a broader perspective. But if you are looking at an individual perspective, Leo will be separate, Tigris will be separate. But on a broader category, lion and tiger will have similar things. Wait a minute, someone is saying that I am not able to understand, so I am just repeating it once again. Okay, so please understand, listen to it very properly. What I am trying to tell is, we are having some similar characters. Okay, based on those similar characters, we are trying to arrange them into some categories. Let us say that we are all similar. Can I say that person A and person B are two human beings are there? Are they same overall? We can say, because what, both of us look alike. What is the meaning of alike? It is not that I am identical to that person. Let us say that you are one of the student and I am one more person. Both of us are human beings. Both of us have 2 ears. Both of us who have two hands. Both of us have 2 legs. Okay. Similarly, you have the same kind of like body arrangement, inside which the organism is the same thing. Anatomically, we all have same. Your heart functions the same way as my heart functions. Okay, so your system and my system is same. So we both belong to the same species. Okay, so if you are seeing two organisms have very similar things, you can group them together in the same species. But when two organisms have some minor differences, we put them in different species. Say for example, Panthera leo, Panthera tigris. Lion and lion and tiger, are they same or are they different? Sure, ma'am, I'll do it. Okay, if you're going to talk about lion and tiger, are they same or are they different? Okay, so if you're going to say that thing, we'll know that exactly that it is different. Okay, you can say, looking at a feature of a lion, you will be able to tell that this is lion, and looking at the feature of tiger, you will be able to tell this is a tiger, because they are not exactly alike, but there are some visible differences. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to classify these species, similarly looking species, into different genus. I mean, into the same genus. Say, for example, I am going to classify Leo and Tigris. They have some commonality. So I have classified them into the same genus, which is Panthera. Okay. So Panthera is the case. Okay. So Panthera is the genus. Leo is the species. Okay. So this, any lion will be put together under species. Any tiger will be put together under tigress. But since lion and tiger are having similar characters, they are put together under Panthera. Okay. We can also classify species on the basis of character. Actually, you can do it based on individual character. Yes, you can profile human beings, but we will not do it because species is the lowest thing when you're coming to classification. Okay, we can say that all the humans are not the same. You can still say that there is a Negro, there is a foreigner, white man, there is a Chinese, like that you can distinguish sapiens. But commonly we can say that all of us are sapiens only. Okay. In which ways lion and tiger are similar? Both of them have 4 legs. They have one tail. Okay. Their features, anatomical features are same. And there are certain features in which you can classify them together. Okay. They belong to the same species. Okay. So if next one, you can also talk about Homo erectus. And sapiens. Sapiens is a modern man. Erectus is the man who was living before human beings, that barbaric man who was looking more like a monkey. Okay, that guy is called as erectus, who was having a erect spine. And before that, a stooping guy was called as habilis. So there was habilis, there were erectus, and there are sapiens. All of them are different species, but they had some similarities. So they were being clubbed together under a genus name, which is called as Homo. Okay, so this is how your grouping is working. If you are looking at a very common, this is what is genus. Then what they tried to do was they tried to classify similar genuses under the same family. Okay, so now you have something called as a cat family. Inside the cat family, you have Felis, which is the cat. You see, I can classify, if I'm asking you to classify groups of organisms, dog, wolf, lion, tiger, cheetah, leopard, jackal, direwolf. Okay, Alsatian. So if I'm going to classify them into different groups, you will say that dog is one, means wolf will also belong to one category. And then similarly, jackal will belong to one category, direwolf will belong to one category, and Alsatian would be belonging to one category. And you will also say that lion belongs to 2, tiger belongs to 2, cheetah belongs to 2, leopard belongs to 2, and say if cat was there, cat would also be belonging to 2. So you can say that dog is totally different from lion, but you will still say that cat is similar to lion. Okay, so which means they all belong to the same family. Felis is one genus, Similarly, there is one genus which is called as Leopardus. Then there is one more genus which is called as Panthera. So these are all genus belonging to the same cat family. So the cat family's name is what we call it as Felidae. So Felidae is there. Okay. But if you're seeing Felidae, can you classify them? Felidae is one family. So there is a particular thing, class, which is called as Carnivora. Carnivora is an order. Under this order, you have Canidae, which is the dog family. And similarly, you have Felidae, which is a cat family. So this is the next level of organization. So what is happening is, where is this cat family and dog family is organized? They are organized into Carnivora. Can you say that cow will come inside this Carnivora? No, it will not come under Carnivora, because Carnivora will be including all the carnivorous organisms. Okay, so if you're going to talk about mammals, inside mammals you will have carnivores, you will have herbivores. Inside this carnivores, you can have a dog family, you can have a cat family. Inside this cat family, you will have a Felidae, Felis genus. You can have a Panthera as a genus. Inside this Panthera, you will have lion, Leo, tiger. Like that, what you are able to see is, you are able to see that is different. So that is how all species under order Carnivora are carnivorous animals. Yes. Okay. Who is an omnivore? Cat. Okay, omnivore. We generally classify them into only two groups. One is like one meat eating groups, and then like the one which is capable of eating thing. Omnivore, since it is domesticated, it is done that way. Otherwise, the features of a cat is like similar to that of carnivore only. Only dogs and cats which are like they're domesticated will eat food. Otherwise, you try to give a banana to a cat and see banana will be eaten by a cat. No, it will not eat. Okay, maybe domesticated cats might do it. So what you have to understand is, this is how this organization is happening. So the first one which is organized is your species, which is the lowest rung. Many species which with similar properties are clubbed together as genus, and many genus are clubbed together as family, and many families are clubbed together as order, and many orders are classified together as class, and many classes are classified into phylum. Okay, and many phylums are classified into kingdom. So now if you ask me to trace cat, I will say cat will come under animal kingdom. Inside animal kingdom, it will come under the phylum Chordates. What is this phylum? The one which will have backbone. Inside the chordate, it is coming under the class Mammalia. What is Mammalia? The organisms which will be giving birth to young ones and nourishing it is called as mammals. Inside this Mammalia, it will come under the order Carnivora. Inside the order Carnivora, it will come under the family Felidae. Inside the family Felidae, it will try to come under Felis. This is the genus. And inside this Felis, it is coming under Felis, the species. If you are going to talk about lion, lion will take a deviation here and it will become Panthera. And here lion will take a deviation for Leo, whereas tiger will take it for Tigris. So like this, it is organized. So this is how it is organized. And what people were trying to tell was, like, there can be sub kingdom. There can be sub phylum. There can be subclass. There can be suborder. There can be subfamily. And there can be subgenus. And there can be subspecies. Whenever you are trying to go further, classify it further in the downward side, okay, you will use the word sub. If you are going to classify it above it, we'll use the word prefix super. There can be a super kingdom. There can be a super phylum. There can be a thing. So what we are trying to do is, like, suppose if there is one more property which was found beyond this thing, then we will use the word super. As of now, we cannot go for super. Only sub kingdom is like being done, but they have also created some kind of ideas for it. Okay, so with this thing, we'll stop the class. I will give you notes for these things in the next class. Okay, so now what we will try to do is, like, I'll just quickly go through again with all the slides once again. So you just see what we started today. We started with taxonomy, systematics, and phylogeny. I tried to explain these terminologies to you today. So you have something called as taxonomy, study of classification, identification, and nomenclature. Systematics is study of relationship between them. Okay, if you want to take screenshots, please take it now. Next one is phylogeny. We studied about evolutionary history. That is what is phylogeny. Then we started studying about nomenclature, binomial nomenclature. Okay. Similarly, you have rules for nomenclature we studied. Okay, and then, like, we studied, this is continuation of the rules, and we studied about these two organizations. Then we started studying about taxonomic categories. If you want, you please just write these 7 names alone. Others are all scribblings only. Please, that is just for understanding. I tried to teach this thing. If you want, you can take a screenshot. Okay, someone wants the first slide. Quickly, I'll show only the first slide. Okay, with this thing now, what I want you to do is, children of KNMS alone will be staying here back now. All the remaining school students can leave. Okay, the school teachers wanted to give you some instructions. The principal ma'am and then, like, your class teachers want to give you some instructions. So what I want you to do is, like, students of Blossom or the VRMS and all can leave. Only students of KNMS stay back. They want to give you some kind of instruction. Blossom one, Tarun Kumar wants 5th slide. Quickly take a screenshot, man. Okay,